Money.
Sex.
Gen X.
Welcome to the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast. I am your host with the most, the man with the plan, the Scotty Pimpin' podcast pimpin'.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you all know I am never alone. I got my homie here, the G of Genius Lab, music mogul in the making, the Rashid Wallace of podcast knowledge. My homie, my brother, my co-host, Big Stu.
Liquor shot. What's going on, brother? Happy
What's
happy
going
birthday
on, man?
weekend.
Yeah. We had a nice week with my family, man. I feel blessed. Brother turned 53 years old. It's a big deal.
Amen.
And
Shout out to
had
the
a great week.
Gen Xers, man.
Shout out to the Gen Xers. Shout out to my fellow Aries out there. You know, you're very important in the world. Shout out to all the Aries. Yes, sir.
It is
Yes, sir.
Aries season. Shout out to the Aries in the world, man. I ain't got
It
no
is
problem
Aries
with
season.
Aries, man.
Yeah, man.
Me and
Hey, but
Aries.
what's new with you, man?
Hey, listen, I can't call it, man. Trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, baby.
No
You know
doubt.
what it is.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
heavy is the head that wears the crown, baby. That's what leadership is about.
That's
You
right.
got to take the good and the bad and keep
That's
it
what
pushing.
they say. And I believe it. No question.
No question.
All right, MSG family, we appreciate you all being here for another important episode. If you're new, our content is about a few things. It's about wealth, it's about relationships, it's definitely, Stu, about building identity. Straight from the minds of Gen X, we want you to go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All you got to do is go in there and put at Money Sex Gen X. Stu is doing a fantastic job of keeping that popping with his team, and got some really interesting clips so that you can see where Stu is kind of tying our concepts into the larger culture. Got clips from the Cosby Show back in the day and different things that tie it together. So I love that. Find us on Apple Music, Spotify, all the major streaming platforms. Stu, I definitely want to bring this up. This week we had a surge in activity on podcast downloads and streams. It was a big surge. We actually added 2 more countries, which is a big deal, and we added 42 more cities this week.
Unbelievable. In
Yeah.
1 week,
1 week, brother.
we are growing.
Yes, we are growing. Shout out to our new friends in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Shout out to our new friends in Manchester, England. And stateside, shout out to our new friends in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
OKC,
Yeah.
Buenos Aires, and Manchester, England.
Yeah.
Shout out to
So
y'all. So what's that like? We're at 108 countries now and over 1,000 cities, over 1,030 cities.
Yes, that's close, man. We had 110 countries and we're at 1,045 cities globally.
Real. Shout out to the world. Shout out to the world. Let's keep growing, man.
Yeah, we rocking, man. We rocking. So thank you for hanging with us. Thank you to the new family members. And hey, guess what? If you like what we're doing, go over to Apple Music and leave us a review. Feel free to send us a message. However you want to engage, we are all for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So today is a super important conversation, Stu. Been looking forward to this one. It is, and let me get this right. We are on MSG season 8.
Yep.
Episode 53. Are you an alpha male?
Hoorah! Hoorah!
Yeah. Are you an alpha male? And this is a good one. If you got somebody in your life that's trying to figure out their identity, definitely share this episode because we're gonna get into it. Or you got somebody that they think they're alpha male, but maybe they're not. Send this over to them. It might give them a little bit more information to make that decision about their identity.
Well, do me a favor. Will you please give me the definition of an alpha male, man? Because I've heard this term and I really don't know what the hell. I don't be knowing, man. Can you help us and the people really understand what it means to be an alpha male?
I sure will, brother, and thank you for that. So you know we got to do our actual factuals. So are you an
Mhm.
alpha? Here's the definition. I always say this. I got this online. We're gonna figure it out what we feel it is, but here it is, right? So
Mhm.
an alpha male is commonly described as a man who is confident, assertive, influential, respected, and seen as a leader in social, professional, or romantic, interesting, or romantic settings. It usually means a man is seen as strong, confident, and in control. The term gets tied to leadership, status, decisiveness, and presence. And in modern culture, it could mean dominance, social power, and being the man that other men notice and compare themselves to.
Oh, well, I'm an alpha male then, brother. That's me all day.
You're alpha male. Okay.
That's me.
All
That's
right.
me all day
All right.
long, man.
Okay. Because
I
I was
thought
going
I
to ask
thought
you.
the way they was using it, I thought it meant something toxic and aggressive and a dog eat dog rah, rah, all the time. Nah. Based on that definition, that's definitely me. What about you?
You know what? I'm gonna leave mines until a certain point in the show. I'm gonna leave
Okay.
mines. I'm gonna leave
Mm.
mines. I'm glad you asked me that. I'm definitely
All
gonna
right,
answer your question.
just based on what it sounds like you said,
Mhm.
if I heard you correctly, that's you described me.
Okay, you're alpha. You feel like you're alpha male. Okay, that's good. That's what
I
this is
guess
about.
I guess I love these shows because I always learn something new every episode. So let's find out.
Let's get into it, brother. Okay, all right. So we got a little definition here. Now I'm gonna just start this off by saying this, man. My definition of alpha male does not match up with what I just read at all.
You got it. So
All
okay.
right. So mine's is the toxic one. These are the alpha males that I grew up with, and they are not this. So the people that I'm thinking about when I think about alpha male, they are physically dominant, violent,
Ah,
definitely command fear, and they are successful in their endeavors, even if those endeavors weren't positive. They are successful in them, and people definitely look to them for leadership, even if it's because they are afraid or were afraid. So I'm talking about people in the
it sound like you describing a bully, like a
past.
a thug. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like a
they were thugs. No
dang.
doubt. Yeah,
Those are the
they were
alpha
thugs.
male. I mean, I
That's
remember those
my
guys.
definition of it. I know it's not right and exact per se, but you know how you have stuff from your past. That's what I think of when I hear the term.
Hmm.
That's where my mind goes.
Yeah, I
So
didn't. Nah, well, like, yeah, well, those. Well, then see now those bring up images of men who, like, did you say abusive?
no, I said physically dominant, meaning they're ready to get it popping with the violence if needed. Very
Yeah, well,
quickly.
and I can throw.
I
Okay,
wouldn't
well,
say
that,
that's a bully. It's just if somebody disrespects them, they're going to handle it with violence and do it very quickly. That could have been
to
the other
try to.
person trying to bully them, but it just didn't turn out how they thought it was.
Yeah, well, damn, I do know. I'm familiar with that image of a man.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
didn't, and that's it. But that's your definition of an alpha male,
Yeah.
the big
I don't
one.
know if that's a right way for me to say. I think that's just what I think of. I don't know if
Okay,
that's how I
okay,
define it, but that's
that's
where
what
my
you
mind goes.
associate. Yes,
Right.
okay,
So somebody be
that's where
like,
your
"He's
mind
an alpha
goes.
male." In my mind, I'm like, "No, he's not," because he don't. You know what I'm saying? And then
So
I might
then
have
I
to
wouldn't.
correct myself.
So then I wouldn't fit your definition of an alpha male. Then
No, and that's not any kind of diss because I
sure.
definitely see you as a leader and all the things that we described is just that's just from my childhood what I view an alpha male is as, and I'm trying to reshape it, but that's where my mind goes.
Dang.
We're
So
in a corporate, more of a corporate mindset and setting, so I don't associate that with alpha males. And maybe I just don't right now. Am I flawed for thinking in that way?
no, I mean, hey, our childhood shapes us, brother. It's not
Yeah,
necessarily a flaw. It's just it is what it is.
yeah. Yeah. And I don't see myself as an alpha male under the definition that I gave because that's just not how I go through the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Okay. So now we've talked. So Stu says he's an alpha male. I'm saying that by definition I'm an alpha male, but by my experiences I do not see myself that way. But we're going to ask you all, where do you see yourself, right? So we got alpha. Let's describe a beta. Maybe you see your, and a lot of people probably wouldn't want to admit that they're on the beta spectrum, and that's cool. You don't have to say it out loud, but here's the
Yeah.
definition, right? And here's some qualifying questions. When we talk about beta, are we talking about somebody being weak, passive, avoids conflict, like what I just said, a man who follows instead of leads, or a man who seeks approval? The internet often uses beta as a catch all insult, but some traits that people
Mm.
call beta are not weaknesses. Sometimes they're just patient people, more cooperative, they have humility, emotional control, and less performative, right? So
That's me
now
too.
that's you too. Okay, so the question becomes: is every non-dominant male beta, or are some people just uncomfortable with men who don't perform in a masculinely loud way? Right. So it's kind of like you're not doing the being a man how I want you to do it, so you beta.
You know, I think about yeah, that's a very good point, E Money. Listen, I think about the the loudest guy in the room is not necessarily always the toughest guy.
Hmm.
And I think that it also takes a lot of strength sometimes to be patient. It's chess, not checkers.
Sure.
You know, it takes a lot of strength as a man to control your emotions and not be so reactive.
Right.
Like discipline is strength. Sometimes you got to be patient. Sometimes you got to fall back and observe the situation. Maybe everything ain't a rah moment. That's how I see, and again, because I was raised that as you were raised, and we were raised around the same time, what you refer to as identify as alpha male, I refer to as thugs and bullies.
Sure.
And while they were dominant and aggressive and masculine, they weren't the type of men that I desire to be. I don't need to be. I don't need to show up in that way. I saw a lot of fear in guys who perform that way. I saw a lot of insecurity in those types of men.
Sure.
I saw a lot of security in a man who was a little more reserved. Hey, you got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a cool cat right there, brother. That's a brother in control. That brother, that's a dominant brother right there when you can, you know, not let people control you through your emotions.
There you go. Now we getting into it, man. It's like, why do we always associate masculinity with violence or a person who needs to handle everything in an aggressive manner? I do think there is a part of us that needs to be able to do that, but when, right? In a moment that's really not that crucial, or is it time to do that when it's time to protect your family? So a lot of these guys that I was talking about that are alpha males, a lot of them are in prison right now. So you're in prison right now being an alpha male, right? And your kids are out here at risk and being preyed upon potentially. You know what I mean? It's like you're an alpha, but your family's at risk. That doesn't really, and I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying
Sure.
that it shows us that our definition of alpha male is it really tied to really being a real man, which I feel like should be the goal.
That makes me think about as a father who and I don't live in the house of my children. I don't I don't
Mhm.
I don't have the luxury of waking up every single day to my children. And you mentioned this piece about those brothers that are in jail and they're leaving their children out to be preyed upon. Um, what part of this alpha male, beta male conversation should us Gen Xers, men who have been divorced, have children who don't wake up to our children every single day, which part of this conversation should we be addressing to determine what part of that raising of our children is alpha or beta?
Wow, that is a fantastic question. That is a
Gee whiz, I
fantastic,
wish I could figure that out.
super deep. And I don't know if I have a response to that. That's so deep. I don't have a response necessarily. But that's a good question. Where is the
Because
alpha in being a father? Is that
yeah,
kind of what you're saying?
yeah. When you talked about, you mentioned it briefly when you talked about, there is a point when you need to assert yourself, brother.
Mhm.
Like we all have lines. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna draw a line in the sand, but it's only gonna be so many times before them waves wash that line away before I say, no, this ain't sand no more. This is concrete.
Mm.
I need to set a boundary. And in parenting as a father, we have boundaries. In marriage as husbands, do we have boundaries? Are there boundaries that we get to a point where we say enough is enough? And how do we do that in a way that is not, this is a term I don't think we've used yet, and maybe we have, correct me if I'm wrong, that is not toxic.
That is not toxic. Yeah. Yeah. That's the first time we introduced that, but that's the really fitting word for this because it made me think about this. Do you need to be an alpha male to have a good relationship with your woman, your lady? Are they expecting you to show up as an alpha male?
Which alpha? Because I think the audience may have both opinions of what an alpha male is. We have the aggressor versus the disciplined male.
I'm talking about, are they expecting you to show up as the aggressor? Now, here's why I say that, Stu. Me and you have both had many, many experiences with women. If you don't show up that way, are you going to be perceived as a beta and then kind of go down a road that you don't want to go down?
Yep, yep. That's what I imagine. I actually had this conversation um earlier this week about showing up in the well we were talking about being able to be vulnerable with your significant other as a man in a
Mhm.
relationship, and is it okay to do that? I used to think that was part of the I used to think that with your as a man with your significant other, you should be able to share, what we call pillow talk. You should be able to share your feelings with your significant other. And I no longer feel that way. I don't think, and I haven't found a woman to totally agree with me on this, but I believe that if, as a man, if I share my deepest insecurities and vulnerabilities with a woman, then she is not going to honor that, brother. She will see you as a beta at some point and find a way to disconnect and eventually ghost you. I could be wrong, ladies. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And maybe I just dated the wrong women, but I think I have good taste in women. I think I've dated some amazing, phenomenal women. But my experience has shown me that, brother, you can't be, you got to be a strong and aggressive in that respect when dealing with your significant other. You can't. Don't get too soft on them, brothers. Don't. Nah, nah.
I couldn't agree more. And I'll say another way that it shows up. Say you are out with your lady and they feel that they have been disrespected by a male, and you are
Yeah.
with them. That expectation is that you're going to be the toxic, the whatever you want to call it, alpha male at that moment. If you don't, it's a wrap. And you all can say, "Oh, it is a wrap. It must be
Hey,
done."
hey,
Now you
look.
can decide how far to go with the alpha male at that moment, but you're gonna have to do something. And that's just the bottom. That's just something that I think young men need to really, really understand, and maybe some older guys.
Well, then you better pick who you dating, because I ain't necessarily willing to necessarily fight over every woman, or risk being shot
Mhm.
over a woman. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it does it always go to that. I'll give you an example of something that I did one time. So I was with a young lady. We were having a good time. We walked out of a store, and I thought that someone tried to say something to her, like tried to hit on her while I'm right there. So I'm like, I walked her to the car. I said, I'll be right back. And it's a two dudes standing there. I went up to the dude. I'm like, brother, did I hear you say something to my lady when I was walking out? And he was like, oh no, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Brother, I would never do that. I said, okay, brother, because I said I would never disrespect you like that. I just wanted to make sure. Oh no. Okay, that's cool. So I went back to the car. She was like, man, I'm glad you did that. Like, I don't know what he said. I thought he said something also. So my point is, if I didn't address it, now I'm not going to him with violence. I just asked him a question. I just addressed it. Now he could have got
What if he'd have
violent.
been like, yeah, I said something?
Well, we would have had to go from there. I mean, it's nothing. I don't feel
You
like
wasn't worried
there's.
about it.
No, I won't say that. I won't say I wasn't worried about it. But as you know, as a man, in some situations, it is what it is.
It is what it
Because
is.
I mean, think about this now. You out with a lady and somebody try to hit on them when you're right there.
That's
You just gonna go.
disrespectful,
You're
brother.
just gonna not do anything. Like that's
That's
kind of tough.
disrespectful.
Yeah. So I just feel like that's one of those situations where you got to address it some type of way. And it is what it is. Because if you don't, you're gonna feel like you've been disrespected, but they're also gonna be looking at you like, and you're just gonna let anybody say anything to me on the street. I don't feel protected. So something to think about if you want to date, if you're not willing to do that, or you may have already gotten in trouble too many times for that. It's just something to think about as you think about dating and having a wife, because that expectation is there. It is what it is. What are your thoughts? I see a lot going through your head.
Bro, it made me think about a situation. I was at a party, and this
Hmm.
dude, my lady was on the dance floor dancing. I was sitting down,
Okay.
and she was dancing. It was a tight little space, and this dude walked by my lady at the time, and he was squeezing by from her from behind, and he played.
Mm. Yeah.
Let me tell you though, here's my problem, E. Here's my problem. Here, let me tell you my problem. My violence is problematic.
Hmm.
That's my problem.
Okay.
When I get violent, somebody's getting hurt and somebody's getting in trouble.
Yeah.
That's the issue that I have.
For sure.
That's the
Yeah.
issue that I have. I know it is, but it's my experience in my life.
Yeah.
So I
I
work
understand.
really, really hard to not go there, bro.
I understand. My thing is that once it gets to a certain point, I'm not going to back down or walk away from the situation. Right? I'm not the super tough guy in the world, but I'm telling you,
Sure.
once it gets locked in, I'm in. And so, in your
Yeah,
same way, I'm trying to avoid it getting to that point
bro,
because I know I'm not going to back down or
bro,
let it go. So, you
bro.
got to know yourself out here. You got to know yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The and I I'm a thinker, bro. I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker. So I did not address the dude.
Hmm.
I didn't, and I probably should have, but I didn't have a gray area. My only thought that I had to talk myself down off of was attack.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's
I get it.
I literally would have ruined the whole thing for everybody. It was
Yeah.
over. And so I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't. I
Right.
held on to my dignity and I gave him a pass. Like, you know, let
Yeah.
me chill. That's what I said to myself. Let me chill out before I
Sure.
ruin this whole shit.
Sure. I get it, man. And that's
Mm.
a tough thing, right? Is that being a beta male in that moment? Is that an alpha male who's just saying, I'm a chill? Like, that's where I feel like in culture, we have to get past some of these labels and really figure out how to do what's best for us long term in that moment. Because the thing about it is this: if a person's in a situation they decide to chill, you don't know what their previous history is. They could have beat up
See what I'm
a
saying?
hundred
Like,
people in their life, went to
I don't
jail,
even know if
everything.
Let me look. The chick I was dating at the time, gorgeous woman, beautiful woman. I can't even assume that he did. And actually, this is the other thing. Like he did what probably I would have done.
Yeah. I
He
think
being
giving that grace.
I gave him some grace. Like he wasn't a perverted.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I see. He could have. I ran in three. You know how chat be running prompts bad. I
Yeah.
ran so many. I ran so many outputs faster than chat could ever in that 5 seconds of time, 3 seconds of time. I ran 1,000 different scenarios in 3 seconds. You get what I'm
No
saying?
doubt. Yeah,
And
I
the
feel you.
best answer, the output was
Chill.
chill, bro.
Yeah.
Is you
I'm
about to
gonna
shut
give you an example, Stu, of when I was given grace. I had a homie here from Atlanta. I took him to the Taste of Chicago years ago. Mad people. If you all never been to the Taste of Chicago, it was a big event downtown. They had multiple food vendors. It's thousands and thousands of people out there. It's just like standing room only. You're trying to
yeah.
squeeze your way through. Anyway, we're squeezing our way through the crowd. And I guess I put my hand on this young lady by accident as I was moving through. Because like what I'll do is I'll put my hand on like the small of a woman's
Yep.
back or something like that
Yep.
and
That's
move.
what that's see what I'm saying.
She said she turned around and said, he put his hand on my ass. He grabbed me into her boyfriend. And I was
Mhm.
shocked that she said it. And he just kind of looked at her. He looked at me and he just was like, come on, let's just keep going. I really appreciated that he did that because I did not touch this woman's butt, but
And
my
that
hand
was
could have got too far down. I really respected that. That's an alpha male to me in the good definition because I didn't think he was no sucker or nothing like that. He
yeah.
probably knew how his lady is, and he seen that I'm trying to get through a crowd of 1 million people.
That's what I ultimately set upon. The dude that probably didn't mean no harm. I saw it, but he would have controlled. That's him. That's what I talk about when people get to control your energy, because because of that, what you just described,
Yeah, no
because
doubt.
of what you
No
just
doubt.
described.
Yeah,
Now, if I would have felt like somebody was being, and there have been times when cats have been disrespectful. I thought that. Now I've confronted them about that in that
yeah,
moment, and I've got what you got. My bad, homie. I ain't know. I would. Hey, bro, don't. I wouldn't. Let's not.
yeah.
Let's absolutely not do this. My
Right.
bad, homie. My bad, homie. Okay. Hey, lady. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Let's get up out of
No
here.
doubt.
You know what I
No
mean?
doubt.
Like,
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
in that one instance, what you had me, pause for about, that's what it made me think about. And I hope that the woman I was dating with at the time, if she happens to see this, I hope she doesn't even remember the incident. You know what I mean? Because I'd hate to
Mhm.
believe that she thought I was being a beta, when in fact I was practicing all of my alpha school skills and tools at that time.
True indeed. True indeed. So yeah, ladies, if you're out there, I don't know what the common thinking is, but maybe let's reconsider the labels that we're putting on, and give a brother some grace. He might be what you want him to be, but he might know that I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get you killed or have to kill somebody or whatever. And just like what, let's just leave and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Something to think about. All right. So we've been talking about kind of some of the toxic or more aggressive versions of being an alpha stew, but here's some other things that we didn't really get into, which is questions to ask yourself to know if you're an alpha. And we're talking about the positive, I guess, version of an alpha, not the one that I was
Okay.
talking about. Do
Okay.
people naturally follow your lead? Can you make decisions under pressure? Do you walk into rooms looking for approval or already grounded in who you are? Do people respect you without forcing it? Can you stay calm when challenged? Can you disagree without becoming defensive? And can you lead? I like this one without being controlling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other parts of being an alpha male to think about.
Yeah. I can't answer yes to most of those questions off the back. You probably have to run them back one by one for me. But I like those questions, and I think men should ask themselves that question. As a teacher, being in classrooms, middle schools and high schools, and even at the university level, I often, particularly in middle school, high school, I often would be in the hallway and somebody all the time say, "Are you the principal? Are you the
Hmm.
principal? Are you the dean? Are you the assistant principal?" I remember most recently, "Are you the CEO?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Nope, I'm just a teacher here."
Yeah.
Of course, let's address the elephant in the 600-pound monkey at the table. You and I both are over 6'4".
Hmm.
You and I
No
both,
doubt.
and we have learned that our height gives us a sense of presence.
Sure.
You know, we both dress relatively well. Um, there are a number of people that have both found both of us attractive in our own right.
Right.
We're both educated. We're both well spoken. We
Sure.
have things going for us.
Yep.
We ain't no suckers. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so I think there is a default leadership must be the leader disposition that comes with us.
True
Um,
indeed.
let's not act like that our height and our disposition doesn't have something to do with the fact that we get called into those positions of leadership all the time.
Yeah, that's true. And I know a lot of people that might be taller might not want to admit that, but that's just how real society is. Like, remember that time we did an episode and they talked about how people who are viewed as attractive are more successful just from the numbers. And
Yeah,
one of the biggest markers of attractivity is height.
yeah,
Whether we want to accept it or not, it is what it is. The
yeah,
taller someone is, the more they're viewed as being attractive in our society. It may
yeah.
change at some point. Doesn't mean we are, but it's the viewpoint. And so, yeah, I feel
Uh,
that. Now, here, and it's kind of like the girl who's been told she was pretty all her life,
mm,
right? After a while, you just kind of exude it, right? You're like,
mm,
yeah, you walk in a room, you just kind of give off that vibe, like, yeah, I'm the
mm-hmm,
principal, I'm the attorney, I'm the CEO. You heard it a million times. You can't help but,
no doubt. Yeah,
So, yeah, I like that. So it's kind of a confidence versus dominance,
yeah.
right? You don't have to dominate, but you're just confident. You can be strong without trying to overpower people. And it's just a signal of strength and security. Now, you asked me a question. I don't believe in sidestepping questions. When people ask me questions, you said, do you view yourself as an alpha male? By definition, yes, but in practicality in life, I do not. Here's where I find myself, Stu, and I don't know if you're familiar with this term. They got a new term, newer, called Sigma male.
Are you the shit? If you ever been called Sigma, you the man.
Sigma male. Now,
Sigma, yeah, I
Sigma
heard
is
that.
a term for a popular, what is the term? You're a lone wolf. So you're one of these people who prefer solitude. You work alone. You do not need to lead or follow to feel fulfilled. You have a quiet confidence. It's not loud like the alpha. It's more of a quiet, self-assured confidence. You often, here's where I totally see myself as well. They often ignore societal rules, traditional career paths, or social hierarchies. Stu, this is me to a T, brother. They're often considered deep thinking people who rely on intuition. This is me. They prioritize controlling their own time and choices, often leaning toward entrepreneurship or remote work. This is scary.
That's me,
How
man.
much this is me all day, man. Sigma, all day long. I mean,
Sigma,
this is crazy. Soon as I saw Lone Wolf, I was like, there it is.
man.
That's me.
I guess that's the new term for being a recluse, an introvert. I
Yeah.
have no problem in doing things on my own, brother.
Yeah. Lone
Um,
Wolf.
you're an alpha, right? You alpha phi alpha.
No, I'm not.
No, you're a Q.
No, I'm not in a fraternity at all.
Exactly, that's the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
I never felt the need to join. No diss to all of my brothers who are in fraternities, my sisters who are in sororities. No diss to the Divine Nine at all. But I never found anytime people say you need to join this organization because of the brotherhood or sisterhood. I generally, I don't. I'm like, I don't need other people to define me.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm good. I can, through the grace of God, I can define myself, brother. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Um, I don't need,
Very
and
rare
again, I
though.
don't need to be loud and boisterous. I've learned over the years that quiet is the new loud, if you will.
Sure.
Say
Yeah.
less. Literally, less is more. You know.
True indeed.
Uh,
Yeah, that's true, man. I think people generally respect people who are more reserved, like just kind of like the height thing. The being reserved and confident thing is like one of those other things that is generally found as attractive, right? Because they're looking at you like this dude could get loud, and I'm sure he could do whatever, but he's choosing not to do that. That's powerful.
Self control is a monster, bro.
Yeah.
And if you can't control yourself, you can't control much else. So you got to control, and I teach this. You got to be able to control these five things, man. You got to be able to control your words, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your reactions. That's it. I can't control the man that stepped on my shoes. I can't control the man that touched my lady's small of her back. I can't control that, but I can control my words, thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions. And if I cannot control myself, I won't be able to control anything else. And that's
Absolutely.
Stu's moment of transparency right there.
There you go, brother. I love it. I love it. Hey, and I haven't checked in on this episode. So, hey, if you're just checking in, this is the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast. This is season 8, episode 53. Are you an alpha male? And Stu, we've been talking about about alpha males, but there's people who are alpha. There's alpha females, there's beta females, there's sigma females. So we don't want to leave you out, ladies. We really want to ask you, where do you see yourself in this conversation? I've met some women who were alphas. I've met some women who were definitely sigmas. I haven't necessarily remember meeting any beta females. But where do you see yourself? Which one are you? Is this conversation helping you kind of understand your identity any better?
Hmm.
Would love to know that.
Yeah, I'm interested to know that too, because when I think about a beta female, immediately what came to my mind, and ladies, don't beat me up for this. I mean, but I just think of myself. I think about a beta female, a traditional woman, and
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. Traditional woman that came to my mind reminds me of 1950s, 1960s. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, ladies. I'm just sharing the truth with you. If a beta female is, I don't know if that's true. You all have to tell us in the comments. Is that what comes to mind? Is that what a beta female is? Like a traditional woman who, traditionally is looking to be kept, and provided for, and will take care of the children in the house, and make sure that home is happy. Is that what the beta female is? I don't know. So let us
Yeah.
know, ladies. Let us know.
Yeah, no doubt. And keep in mind, we out here in Chicago, so I definitely not seeing a lot of beta females at all, right? I'm seeing definitely a lot of alpha, some sigma. So that's just
But you
my
you know where I see you know where I see a lot of beta females,
where's that?
by the definition that I just described, is in the Hispanic Latin community. I know. I'm
Yeah, I
willing to
thought
go that.
about
I see
that.
it. I work with them. I see a lot.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
see a lot where there's still traditional women are looking to get married early.
Hmm.
Their husbands are the providers, and they cook and take care of the children.
Okay.
I see that. I
Yeah.
see it often, all the time. It's not a diss, not a slight. I'm not trying to get us canceled or anything. It's what I've witnessed.
True indeed. Yeah, I think for me, I feel that and I've seen it. I feel like what I see more so on a daily basis is the ones who haven't made it to being a wife yet, and they're not necessarily in a deep relationship. And that's probably the ones I'm referring to, the younger 20 somethings that aren't married yet. And they definitely have more of an alpha sigma type energy. But yeah, once they get married, for sure, totally agree with that. What about Asian culture? What are you seeing from them?
You know what? I just don't have enough experience with the Asian
Yeah,
culture to
true.
to know. Um, uh, I just don't have enough experience with the Asian culture to know.
Yeah, same here. I do not.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Let
right.
us
So this
know.
is
Let us know though.
yeah, let us know. And hey, we're gonna get to Eric's burning question as we wrap this up. And my burning question this week, Stu, is if you realize you're not an alpha male, can you handle it? Is it okay? You know what I mean? Because maybe you're a beta or sigma that's masquerading as an alpha. Maybe you see yourself as an alpha, but people don't respond to you that way. Is that
Well,
okay?
so what's our definition? What's our agreed upon definition for the money sex Gen Xers? What's our definition of an alpha male? And is that our goal? Is our goal to be alpha, or is our goal to be beta? Is our goal to be sigma?
It's a good question. I feel so. The reason why I threw that out there, I think in social media land, the alpha is king. And so I would imagine that most younger people, that's sort of their North Star of what it means to be masculine, to be a man. Whether they agree with it or not, they're thinking, well, that's what's expected of me. And so that's why I threw that out there. What is our definition? I think mine is like half of the toxic and half of the good alpha. I think somewhere in the middle is what I would say alpha male is.
I would like, you and I are cut from similar cloths. Um, I'm not gonna say we cut from the same cloth, but similar. And so many, we have a lot in common. We're cut from similar cloth. I want to believe that our goal is to be smooth, man. We smooth cats, bro. And so
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be aggressive. I'm so smooth. I never have to get to aggression.
Yeah.
If I got to get to aggression, I'm out of pocket, bro. I done lost my sense of self.
Right.
Nah, we ain't doing that. We smooth, man.
Yeah.
We smooth. Why we aggressive? Why we so aggressive? I if I'm gonna be aggressive, I need to go build something. I need to go put that into a sport, a workout routine. What's happening? Well, I'm taking my aggression out on another human, another individual. That's beta, bro. That ain't. I don't even want to say that's beta. That's weak. Let me say that. That's just you weak, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I'm not saying if somebody's disrespecting you, you let that slide. Don't let that slide. Handle that. But you got to give grace, man. You got to give people grace. And you don't know what people dealing with, so you got to
Right.
relax. Everybody chill, man. Now, if I give you some grace, I'm go to the old school 1980s, 90s. Number one violation was stepping on a man's shoes, man. You stepped on my shoes, man. And if you don't have the grace to be like, my bad, homie,
Sure.
forgive me, my bad, homie. At that point, you should be like, cool. If you still going on and on about he said my bad. Now
Yeah.
what? Now what? What you want him to do? Now you want him to clean your shoe? Nah.
Yeah.
You want him to buy you new shoes? Nah. We want to fight about it? Nah,
Right.
man, you out your mind. The man that said my bad. You brought it to him. He said my bad. Now, if you say, man, you stepped on my shoe, and he say, man, F your shoes. Oh, we got a problem because you being disrespectful. All you
Yeah.
have to do was say my bad. Now you got to get some home training. That's for real. And that's where we at. So as a Gen X MSGer, as an MSGer, bro, be smooth, man. And I think that leans more towards the Sigma. Be smooth, man. Like let it ride, man. It's okay. It's okay. Let it ride, man. That's the true that's true masculinity in 2026, 2027 going forward.
I like
Self-control.
that. I like that, brother. I'll say this too. I thought about this as you were speaking. I feel like in other cultures, that's not really what is expected. So I look at other cultures when I'm out and about, like Caucasian and Asian, and I wonder, are they expected to be ultra aggressive by their spouse if something goes down? Or is that just something that's placed on African American or Black men from all over the world? Is that really, think about it, a Caucasian dude, if something happened to his wife, expect him to get gully and start fighting and all this stuff? Is that the expectation? I don't think so. I don't think so, because I've been in interactions with these people in those moments, and I don't think that's what they wanted from them. I think they wanted protection, but they didn't expect them to kill the person or
Mhm.
get into some, you know what I mean? So it's like I be thinking, why is that the expectation for us? we're already the most at risk profile in society. Why are we expected to crash out to be
It makes me
masculine?
it makes me think of the Jada Smith, Will Smith, Chris Rock incident.
Mm, wow.
Makes
Yeah,
me
yeah,
think
yeah.
about that. Like,
That's a good one. Yeah.
yeah, like
Was he alpha for
Chris
doing that?
was that? I mean, she might have been a little too sensitive. He telling jokes, man. This dude been telling jokes for you. That's what he do. You in the space, you're gonna get roasted. You don't have to be in the space to get roasted. People get roasted, man. Like the sassy community, man, the sassy world and got so sensitive out here. Now you can't even make jokes these
Yeah,
days. And in that situation, she gave him the look like you just gonna let him talk about me. Like
right.
you ain't gonna do nothing about me. It was that movie with Denzel Washington, Saving Isaiah. What was it? Saving Isaiah. Uh, and he didn't have money. His son was sick,
Oh
and
yeah,
and the wife was like, "Do something, do."
yeah.
And he shut the whole hospital down. And he even put it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I
He
mean.
had to get busy out there. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
he out there getting busy, but it's the situations where I've seen other races get in those kind of embarrassing protective battles is they're drunk, man. They
Yeah,
drunk. You done got too drunk. And again, now you drunk, you done lost your what? Self-control.
there you
Now you
go.
ain't got no self-control, and now everybody look like a fool. So
Absolutely.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know. But I think that the key that I think transcends all cultural boundaries is respect versus disrespect. You
yeah.
disrespect, man. You got to get dealt with for being disrespectful. That's
Right,
disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful. That's when it's
right.
a problem when you're disrespectful, man.
And to add on to that, deciding how you want to handle a situation, right? So you can address it. It doesn't always have to go straight to violence. Right now, yeah, you might try to address it calmly, and it goes to that anyway. But at least if something go down, you tried to address it in a civil manner,
Yeah.
right? And your lady should respect that. Like you said, you addressed it, right? Like, hey, I don't like what you did, being disrespectful, blah, 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 whatever it is. You attempted to handle it. How they choose to respond is on them, but you addressed it versus you just acting like it didn't happen and walking away. That's nothing wrong with that at
100%.
all.
100%.
So something to think about. So Stu, I think we did this conversation some justice. Again, think about where you fit in this. You might be like, I don't see myself in any of them. That's cool too.
That's fine.
But hey,
Yep.
are you an alpha? It's a good question to ask yourself. All
So
right, Stu.
you are
Oh,
you
go
are
ahead.
Sigma though. That's where you at though. You a Sigma.
1,000,000%. And I'm gonna tell you something, Stu. I didn't even know about that term until I did the research for the show. I didn't even know
Look,
about it.
look. The shorties have called me a Sigma.
They've called you a Sigma. Okay.
I've heard it. That's where I first heard the term from the shorties,
Wow.
from the young cats.
Okay.
I don't
But it,
call them. I don't call them that other term. I call them young dudes, the young men.
wow.
They were
Wow.
like, "Stu, you Sigma, you Sigma,"
That was
and
respect.
I knew it was respectful. I didn't know what it was in this respect. The term successful but highly independent, self-reliant man who exists outside the traditional social dominance hierarchy. I didn't know that. The
Yeah, for
lone
sure.
wolf, like yeah.
Yeah,
But I think now when I hear the term alpha, I'm thinking that's us old heads. The new term for that is Sigma. Be Sigma, bro.
sure.
Be
It's better.
Sigma.
Yeah. The first time I heard alpha, and I think I got introduced to so many concepts late in life, but I was in my late 30s and I was sitting down with this young lady. We were on a board together and she was voicing her frustrations with other people on the board. She was like, yeah, they're threatened by you because you're an alpha.
Mm.
And she's a therapist. And I'm like, what's the alpha? I was cool enough with her to reveal that I don't even know what alpha male is. Like, what are you talking about?
Mhm.
And she explained it to me. I was like, okay. I mean, but that was the first time that I have ever heard that. And I would say this at that time, I was exhibiting the traits of the sort of toxic. alpha, but in a corporate way.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It wasn't no violence or nothing like, but just being like, just very
Hmm.
aggressive in a corporate space. So, I don't know, but I think I'm definitely a Sigma for sure. So, no doubt.
Yeah, that's dope. That's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah.
I see that
Okay,
in you.
no doubt, no doubt. All right, let's get to this, man. Let's get to the last segment of today, which is characters from corporate. This is my favorite. I just love doing this. If you're new to the show, Characters from Corporate is us giving our take on a corporate situation that you've been dealing with that you want some insight on. Today's is I'm a 50-year-old black woman living in Ashburn, Virginia. Ashburn, Virginia. And shout out to Ashburn. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned you all when we're talking about the growth. We've had a lot of streams and downloads, Stu, from Ashburn, Virginia. It's
Yeah.
about 45 minutes outside of DC. So in the suburbs, that area. Thank you for tuning in.
Shout
She
out to
says, I've
you.
been in corporate for 25 years as a senior level paralegal at a global law firm. I've mastered my job doing corporate real estate transactions, and on paper, I'm doing well. Good salary, strong benefits, and a reputation for being the one who always steps in and gets things done. But the truth is, she says, Stu, I'm tired. What used to feel like being dependable now feels like I'm being used. I'm
Mm.
helping more important work move forward, but when it's time for recognition or more money, I'm expected to just keep delivering. I'm starting to feel like my value is being used to keep me exactly where I am. I've started a small consulting business on the side, and honestly, that work gives me more life than my actual job. The problem is, I'm not bringing in much revenue yet. I have a family that depends on me. So even though I keep thinking about leaving corporate, I'm scared of what happens if I take that leap and the business doesn't go well. How do you know when it's really time to leave and the risk is just too high for the people counting on you? Wow, that is heavy for sure.
As a
All right, Ashburn.
lifelong, yeah, as a lifelong entrepreneur, entrepreneurship is not for the weak. It's not for the faint at heart. Um, Particularly when you're starting out, and many people never make it to the point of trust as an entrepreneur, where you can trust the revenue, trust that you'll make enough money to pay people and yourself. Most people don't make it that far in entrepreneurship. The small minority of people do make it to that point. And so, based on that, it's like you could say it's never a good time unless you had deep pockets to sustain yourself for 10 years before you know that you can survive off of your entrepreneurial endeavors, or you get that you know 8-figure injection, right? um, Sometimes you're thrust into entrepreneurship. You're forced into it because of the circumstances that are beyond your control. So I think you hold on to your job as long as you can and try to do both as long as you can until you realize that one is not sustainable, whether it's your job or whether it's the endeavor. And that's when you know. Other than that, you got to have some real thick skin and some real strong bones in order to jump out here. But I will also tell you this: if you jump out there, and if you have faith in God, and if you jump out there, you'll make it. You will make it. It won't always be easy, but you'll make it. What do you say, E? You're a lifelong entrepreneur. What do you say?
Yeah, I like what you said, brother. I mean, for me, it comes down to your financial position, and even if you got a 401k that can be tapped, I would say don't be afraid to do that if it's coming down to it, Stu, because we all been in a situation where your health is starting to be affected. So, what's the point in having this really great 401k, but then by the time you're able to use it, you're in such bad health that it's not even a good quality of life. So I'll say view your 401k as potentially a source of a loan, right? You could pay it back. I'd also say for the people who are depending on you, again, if corporate is becoming so much that it's going to affect you and your quality of life and your health, Think about that too before you jump, before you say, nah, I'm not going to do it. Because you might stay in corporate and still not be there for your family.
So
Something to
I
think
heard you
about.
say, yeah, I heard you say that your happiness is as important as um, the work that you're doing. That's what I heard.
Happiness and that health, man, which is tied, right? The health, it's hard to be happy when you're not healthy.
To
It's
be
hard.
happy when you ain't healthy.
It's hard. And that's a good t-shirt, but we need to
That's it,
put that.
man. Hard to be happy if you ain't healthy.
Hard to be happy when you ain't healthy, man. So, and then I like, Ashburn, Virginia, sister, I really like the fact that you already started the business. So now you can kind of figure out, does this thing have any traction? I'll just give you this one tip though. If you're doing any white collar work, it has to have AI integrated into it.
Hey,
I don't care who you are. I'm telling you, you got to integrate in AI, and you've got to be well versed in AI these days to launch a business.
hey, man, come on, brother. Come on.
Yeah.
Amen to that. That's
Yes,
real
sir.
spill right there. Real spill, brother.
Yeah. So, sister, figure it out. You can always hit us up to talk more, but thank you for that submission. Stu, this has been a really good conversation, man.
Good conversation for sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I definitely learned
Um,
some things. What's our
I learned
next
a few
episode?
things. Look, I
You did?
started off talking about
Okay.
I'm an alpha, ended up talking about I'm a sigma. I don't know what's going on.
Switched over. Okay.
I switched over.
That's good. That's good. I love it. I feel like we benefit from these episodes just as much as our listeners. So yeah,
Amen.
because I didn't even know what a sigma was.
That's
Now I
crazy.
know.
Now we
Yeah.
know.
Yes,
Now
sir.
we
Yes,
know.
sir.
All right. Well, let us know how we did in the comments.
Hmm.
Um, stay tuned. Stay with us. We are rebuilding our brand. We are putting some things into work with the use of all of this new technology. We have some new partners coming on board to support us.
Yes, sir.
You don't want to miss out. You just want to stay tuned. And look, E Money and I are planning some in-person events real soon. Let us
Yeah.
know if we should come to your city
Wow.
and let's make it happen. We will
That'd be
come
great.
to your city, have a live conversation. One of us or both of us will DJ the event. We'll have some drinks and
Ah,
hors d'oeuvres and network and have a great time. So, again, let us know how we're doing in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share.
for sure, for sure. And Stu, I'm gonna just ask you this on our way out. Is there anything you want to talk about in a future episode of season 8, man? Like, what's burning that you want to get to?
I think burning is health.
Health. Okay.
We got
Cool.
to talk about health. We have to talk about black men and diabetes, black men and prostate cancer.
Yeah.
We have to continue to talk about our health. And then, I also want to talk about some of these investment opportunities that are out here and how we leverage the AI to help us build capital and build wealth.
Okay.
Um, there needs to be an episode, I think, about parenting and co-parenting. I know we've talked about some of this before.
Sure.
It's worth revisiting.
Okay.
I heard a new term over the weekend. It's the Malibu teen. The
Never heard of it.
Malibu teenager. You ever heard of the term a Malibu teenager?
Never.
It's a man that's having a baby before he turns 60.
Yeah. Okay. I will have to
That's
understand that.
so you're 40, 50, under 60 having a baby, you're a Malibu teen.
Oh, yeah. That's deep. I don't understand the connection with the word. We'll have to
Because
get into that.
Malibu is Hollywood, California, older men having babies, teenagers. It's a
Okay.
play on, but a Malibu teen is a guy in his late 40s, 50s, approaching 60, having a baby. So,
Okay. That sounds like a great episode. Are you a
so
Malibu teen?
are you a Malibu teen? Like, what's
Let's
up with
do that.
let's look into some research about men having babies later in life. And I'm even finding that more women are also. I'm tripping because a bird just literally slammed into my window.
Oh wow.
I'm tripping off. I'm hearing more and more women are willing to have babies in their 40s.
Yeah, I've seen that for
You
sure.
seeing that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, it's very interesting. We should definitely talk about that. That'd be a good episode to have some guests on.
Malibu teen.
Yeah, let's get some older fathers and some older mothers, and let's talk about it. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now, one that I want to do, and I'm very passionate about this. Stu knows this. I want to do an episode called Do African Americans Have Culture?" Do
African
African
Americans
Americans
have
have culture? I'm touchy about this one, you all. So I
yeah.
do want to have the conversation. We're trying to find the right people. But yeah, if you want to be on that episode, we're looking for people who are not African American that are willing to share their thoughts on whether African Americans have culture in a constructive and respectable way. But we need you to keep it a buck. We need you to keep it really honest. And I'm gonna
Mm.
be a little touchy, but I'll be professional. Let's talk about it and figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
I'm
good.
excited about these potential topics, particularly the culture episode,
Okay.
African
All right.
American culture.
Money.
Sex.